Hi again. You might be aware that recently I did a challenge where I was basically only training one set of press ups and one set of squats, and that was it. Since that video ended, I've been working on a new challenge to increase the amount of pull ups that I can do. That video is going to be coming next week, so if you're not a subscriber, then you might want to hit the subscribe button and then you won't miss it. What I really wanted to do was triple the amount of pull-ups that I could do. I was very disappointed with how many pull-ups that I could do after that one set challenge finished, because I hadn't been doing any pull-ups at all for nearly 3 months. So to get my pull-ups back up, my goal was to try and triple the amount that I could do at the beginning of the challenge. And that was the main reason that I started doing dead hangs. There's quite a few benefits to doing dead hangs every day, which we're going to get into in a moment. For now, I'm just going to start letting the videos play, because you're going to see my progress each day as I started this journey with the dead hangs, how my grip strength improved, how I was able to hang for longer, although it wasn't quite as obvious as you might think. Even from this first video here, you can see that I only managed to hang for 13 seconds, which was pretty disappointing, really. I thought I thought I would have at least got like 30 seconds on my first try. And even the following days after that weren't even that much better.
I got some new feelings that make you uncomfortable. You bring out all the good in me, and I see what I'll never be. Cause I got me some reason to look on my keys in the car that we're taking home. So won't you say what you said to me on the roof of your house? Cause I've been having my doubts, oh yeah. Don't know what we could be. Sometimes I feel we're nothing, but you talk like we're something. I guess now we're giving it a try. I like the way you describe it to people who won't go quiet. Cause every day I'm reminded of all the descriptions I could make. Wasted, don't know what I feel. Remind me cause it feels so real. Yeah, I got to repeat that I want you in me. Pay no mind to what I'll ignore. Try not to live like I'm 17, cause you want what's under my skin. The door is open but I won't let me in. So won't you say what you said to me? Say it, baby. On the roof of your house. Cause I've been having my doubts, oh yeah. Don't know what we could be. Sometimes I feel we're nothing, but you talk like we're something. I guess now we're giving it a try. I like the way you describe it to people who won't go quiet. Cause every day I'm reminded of all the descriptions I could make. Don't know what we could be. Sometimes I feel we're nothing, but you talk like we're something. I like the way you describe it to people who won't go quiet. Cause every day I'm reminded of the descriptions I could make.
The only rule that I stuck to when I was doing this was that I would only do one dead hang each day, no multiple sets. No, I know that some people suggest like if you do 7 minutes a day, and that could be made up from lots of different sets. So you could do like 30 seconds, then a minute, and then another 30 seconds, and then another minute, and keep going until you've done a whole 7 minutes. I didn't do any of that. This was basically just one set each day, and that was all. Maybe if I had tried doing the whole 7 minute thing, it might have increased my strength quicker. I'm not really sure about that, but it did still start to increase my strength slowly over time just by doing this one set a day. Although, like I said, it wasn't very obvious. There was no pattern to it. So some days it was like I could hang for like 20 to 30 seconds, and then another day I might only get 17 seconds or 18 seconds, and then another day I would get like 32 seconds. It was very strange how it would work that way. The only thing that I could see that did make a difference was if I was doing the hang at the end of a workout. Obviously, I was a bit weaker at that point, so those hangs were usually a little bit shorter than the days when I hadn't worked out at all. So, apart from believing that the dead hangs would help me improve my pull ups, which they did, by the way, I also knew that there was other benefits to be had by doing dead hangs, and I wanted to test this to see if those benefits were real, if they would apply to me, if I would start to notice a real difference. And so I'm going to list the benefits that I noticed, and I'm going to do them in order of what I noticed the most. So number one was grip strength. I noticed this very fast. It was really good to see how my grip strength improved rapidly. I think by the end of the first week, I was already noticing quite a big improvement in my grip strength. And this was great because it does transfer over into lots of other exercises, including pull ups, but many, many other exercises, especially like with dumbbells and stuff like bent over rows and yeah, tons of stuff. So grip strength was huge. Really pleased about this. Obviously, this was really good because you're hanging all of your weight from your fingertips, so it makes sense that it's going to improve your grip strength quite quickly. I was blown away by it. Like I was really, really pleased with the improvements made so fast. And also, there is a direct correlation between your grip strength and the age that you die. So people that die younger often don't have very good grip strength. So if you start doing dead hangs now while you're young and you're fit and you're able to do them, hopefully that is going to have a direct impact on the longevity of your life even. Actually, I've got my own little story about this because my grandfather lived till 97. He always had a really strong grip, so I guess there's a lot of truth behind this. Right, number two, spinal decompression. With me traveling a lot, I often sit on buses for long periods of time, and it can really kind of start to make your back feel uncomfortable. Sometimes these journeys can even be like 10 hours long. So you can imagine after sitting for all of that time and then to finally get off the bus or the train and let your body just hang and feel the stretch. It felt so good. And what's even better is it somehow had an impact on the forthcoming travel days. So the next time I was traveling after I started doing the hanging, my back didn't get as uncomfortable so easily. I would imagine this had something to do with relieving the tension because obviously if you're never really stretching out yourself the way you do with a dead hang or not even putting your arms above your head very often, then of course all of that tension is going to compound. Which leads me on to number three. I just seemed to feel that my posture was a little bit better, that my shoulders were a bit further back. And you got to remember that the position of your body has a direct influence on your physiology, how you feel in yourself, your emotional state. A lot of this is linked to how you have your body positioned. And, obviously, if you're stood upright, you're going to feel more confident, you're going to feel happier, and it's just a great way to naturally improve your posture. Number four, improved shoulder mobility. Okay, so I didn't notice this one as much. That's simply because I'm pretty used to moving my arms around above my head quite a lot. It's part of what I do for work. So my personal shoulder mobility was already pretty good. But from what I read, it can really help improve your shoulder mobility. It can even fix shoulder injuries. A lot of the reason for this is because you have a bone in your shoulder called the acromion. And between the acromion and your humerus bone, there is tendons that run between there. Now, if you're never lifting your arms and you're sitting all the time, this acromion bone starts to curve. And if it starts to curve, then it starts to press on the tendons, and that's what can cause these injuries. So by hanging, you're kind of straightening out that acromion bone so that the tendons aren't getting pressured, and eventually it's going to make you feel better. And obviously, if you don't have any shoulder injuries, by doing this, you're going to actually prevent them. So that's another reason to do it. And that's another reason that I'm going to keep this up even now that the challenge is finished. All right, lastly, number 5, forearm gains. I'm not really sure if my forearms have actually grown, but whenever I'm doing the dead hangs, you can really feel it in your forearms, both during the hang and after. So if there's some muscle stimulus there, that I can only assume that it's going to have an effect on muscle growth. So we'll see what happens over time. I can't guarantee that anything's going to change, but I've got a good feeling that there will be some slight changes in forearm growth. And I mean, yeah, who doesn't want forearms like Popeye? Okay, so the last one I'm not going to count because I don't feel there's enough evidence to back it up. The science behind it isn't proven, but there is a belief that maybe by doing dead hangs, it can potentially increase your height. I know you're probably looking at the screen being like, what? Don't be ridiculous. And I think so too. And I totally agree with you. But there is a theory that if you do dead hangs while you're growing, so not after you become an adult, but while you're growing, then there's a possibility that it could help to increase your height if you do it during that time of your life. Like I said, though, there's not enough research being done on this, and I don't see any real evidence to support it, so I'm not going to actually count that as one of the benefits. It's just a theory. And you might be thinking, you didn't even manage to hang for a minute, but keep watching, because the following day after this, I finally broke the minute barrier. Sadly, that was the only day that I did manage to break the minute barrier, but I'm going to keep doing dead hangs and I'm sure it's going to happen again. I'm going to try and build on it, try and increase my endurance and get better times. I'll maybe keep you posted about that in another video. And as always, if you're going to do this challenge yourself, if this has inspired you or you've done this challenge and you want to share your experience, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Yeah, like I said, tons of benefits. Really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. It's not just about the perks. There's a lot of fun to it as well. I mean, when you're a kid, you do it for the fun then, but you don't really do that kind of stuff when you get older. And doing this again, it kind of reminds you about being a kid, and it just feels good. It's just like I said, it's just fun. Yeah, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, whack the like button, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see that pull-up video that's coming next week. All right, see you next time. Hopefully, ciao.